The gloves really did come off during the Judiciary Committee's debate on the Protecting Our Kids Act. And there was one particularly fiery moment, if you will, from Texas Democratic Congresswoman Sylvia Garcia. Take a listen.
Republicans are complicit in Uvalde's negligence and neglect to responsibly address comprehensive gun reform. Republicans are complicit in the shooter in Buffalo for encouraging white supremacy and promoting replacement theory. Republicans are complicit of the lives lost at Pulse, Florida, for their homophobic and anti-human rights narrative. Republicans are complicit in the massacre in El Paso for their anti-Latino, anti-immigrant narrative and for putting gun lobby interests above people's lives.
Congresswoman Sylvia Garcia is here with me now. Welcome. Okay, Congresswoman, when the cameras went off after that committee hearing, how did your Republican colleagues respond to your comments?
Well, you know, I think as I was saying them, I think some of them had their deaf ears because I don't think they were listening. If you just watched the hearing and saw their behavior, saw their continual defense of the NRA and the gun lobby, their continued defense of guns, and instead of looking at ways to put restrictions on who can get them, they focused on putting more guns on the streets. They want them at the schools. They want them everywhere. So I don't think that we're listening, and they are complicit in every way because they do nothing but obstruct and find ways to block any legislation to come through because they are putting the interests of the gun lobby and the donations that they get above the interests of our children and the American people. So I mean, the public has to stay here.
I agree with you. I agree with you, Congresswoman. I really do.
Enough is enough.
Enough is enough. I absolutely agree with you. I was, for lack of a better term, elated to see that you use some very pointed language because I think that's where the American people are right now. People are tired of seeing children lose their lives at school due to unnecessary gun violence, folks losing their lives in church and the grocery store. I am wondering, though, do you think there is some common ground on this Protecting Our Kids Act? Do any of the Republicans on the committee at least seem open to things like safe storage standards or any of those kind of incentives?
Well, at the committee hearing, they didn't appear to be because they were so focused on protecting their right for anyone to have any gun. It's like a gun on demand. Imagine in Texas, the young man turned 18 and immediately went and buy an AR-15. He can't even walk into a drive-in store and get a beer because he'll get carded and stopped, but he won't from getting an AR-15. We've got to change those rules. We've got 400 million firearms in the USA today in circulation. That's more than we have people. That's outrageous. We've got to do something to restrict them, and we've got to find the common ground. And I think when it comes to securing your guns at home for your defense or for your hunting, making sure they're safely stored, I mean, that's just sensible. You can't get more common ground than that. That's in this bill. Raising the age from 18 to 21 is sensible. You know, we're not saying we're going to stop them all from buying any gun. We're saying they should wait till they're 21, especially a high-capacity assault weapon. The red flag law, that gets to the mental health issues that they're always talking about. Because if someone exhibits behavior that you can see that they would be a risk to themselves or others, either violent behavior, mental, emotional distress, you know, they go through a process in front of a judge before that gun is taken off. We're not going to go over there and just grab the gun. There's a process with a judge. So all of these are sensible. I would hope that we have more people on our side. I know yesterday there was a Republican who announced that he plans to vote for the bill.
Yes.
You know, there seems to be some movement in the Senate. You know, and I think this is where we have to hear from the American people. They have something to say, as you always say when you open your show, and they're saying enough is enough. But we need to hear them loud and clear in Washington. They need to write, they need to email, they need to get on the airwaves. They need to go on the streets if they have to, if that's their form of protest. They need to talk it up at their churches, at their neighborhoods. Because once you talk to people about, Simone, I'm a gun owner. I have a shotgun at my house. That's to protect myself and my property. No one's going to take that away from me. We're talking about the ghost guns that don't have registration and that people kind of get from other countries or from other states. We're talking about the high capacity magazines. All that is meant to shoot and kill people. It's not for hunting. It's not for protecting your home.
I think people will be very struck to hear you say that you are a gun owner and that you have that to protect yourself. But that's not what you're talking about. You're not talking about your shotguns. You are talking about weapons of war. And I think that the way you are having this conversation is how so many more people across the country should definitely be talking about it. Congresswoman Sylvia Garcia, thank you for your time. We will be watching. I agree with you. People want to hear from the American people. I know we're going to hear from them this week in the House Oversight Committee with people who have been affected by gun violence in America. But thank you very much.